There were an estimated 18.1 million cancer cases around the world in 2020. Of these, 9.3 million cases were in men and 8.8 million in women. With this growing global burden, prevention of cancer is one of the most significant public health challenges of the 21st century. Did you know that there are animals that can sniff out cancer and other types of diseases? Well, stay tuned to today's video to see which animals can sniff out these diseases. Next time you're annoyed that ants have entered into your kitchen, consider their extraordinary senses. These tiny animals can detect disease markers such as cancer. In fact, ants are just one of many animals whose senses can detect signs of human diseases, including dogs, rats, bees, and even tiny worms. Here's what we know about these animals and their incredible abilities. A common type of ant found all over Europe, the Silky Ant, can be trained to recognize the aroma of breast cancer in urine. In this year's issue of the Proceedings of the Royal Society, researchers from the University of Sorbonne, Paris, northern France, found that ants can be taught to distinguish between the aroma of urine from mice with human breast cancer tumors and that of healthy mice. Ants and other animals pick up signs of disease by perceiving various volatile organic compounds, or VOCs. These chemicals are produced in various ways and can be found in exhaled breath, sweat, urine, and blood. Diseases can change the volatile organic compounds we emit, resulting in giving off a different odor. By placing a sugar reward near the cancer sample, the ants learn to seek out that scent, a process called operant conditioning. In just 10 minutes, one ant can be trained, according to lead author Baptiste Picaret, now a postdoctoral researcher at the Max Planck Institute for Chemical Ecology in Germany. After scientists trained the ants, they put the insects in a petri dish with urine samples from mice with tumors and healthy mice. They spent 20% more time with the cancerous samples. Ants use olfactory receptors on their antennas to detect the chemicals that make up odors. The scent is their primary mode of communication. They recognize group members by detecting their body odor and use pheromones, often in tiny concentrations, to communicate an astonishing array of complex signals. What exact chemicals the ants are smelling is unknown.
Dogs that can sniff out cancer. Their keen sense of smell can help save lives with early detection.
Dogs can be trained to detect several cancers, such as melanoma, breast, and some infectious diseases that affect people, such as Parkinson's disease and malaria. U.S. dogs have worked in the field screening people for including at some schools in California, in several locations in Massachusetts, and a Miami's Heat basketball game. They can also smell infectious disease in other animals, including chronic wasting disease, which affects the brain of deer and can be fatal. However, dogs can be trained to detect diseases in deer feces, according to a study published in the journal Prion, in which Cynthia Otto with the University of Pennsylvania School of Veterinary Medicine think that dogs may be smelling the infectious agent itself. The difference with detecting cancer could be that the dogs are detecting how the body is responding to cancer cells, including odors deriving from immune responses or something else. Or it could be cancer itself. They could also be detecting more than one scent. In an ovarian cancer study in which the odors were broken into different cohorts, different dogs responded to different fragments.
In laboratories in Tanzania and Nairobi, rats have been trained to sniff out tuberculosis. Already known for finding landmines, the rodents could now transform the way the disease is detected.
Another animal employed to detect explosives and diseases is the African giant pooch rat. APOPO, a Belgian nonprofit organization, first deployed trained African giant pooch rats to Mozambique in 2004, when the rats first earned external international mine action standards accreditation. Tanzania, where APOPO is headquartered, doesn't have landmines, but it is one of 30 countries with the highest rates of tuberculosis. According to Lily Shalom, APOPO's communication manager, research suggests that African giant pooch rats detect a bouquet of odors, which are specific for Mycobacterium tuberculosis, the bacterium that causes tuberculosis. Like the ants, the rats get a food reward when they identify tuberculosis samples in human sputum during training. After training, they act as a safety net, a backup for human technicians. Each rat screens upward of 100 patient samples in about 20 minutes. It would take a human researcher 4 days to accomplish the same task. According to APOPO, since the program's inception, the rats have detected more than 23,000 cases missed by local health clinics.
Scientists have come up with an unusual way to detect the using bees. Bees are about to get buzzier as they're getting trained to sniff out.
Honeybees have already done a lot for mankind, but Dutch researchers have demonstrated that bees are adept at smelling out the virus that causes. Like ants, honeybees smell with their antennas and exquisitely sensitive to scents. Scientists with the Volcanium Bioveterinarian Research Laboratory in the Netherlands took local bees and put them in special bee holder plastic boxes with room for wings and body movement, with just their heads sticking out. They were given scents from various samples and awarded with a sugary treat when they rolled out their tongue in response to positive materials. In time, they would perform this action without being rewarded. Like the ants, they could be trained in a matter of minutes and can check a test in just seconds. What exactly the bees are smelling in the infected samples is as yet unknown.
These tiny worms can apparently sniff out pancreatic cancer. Japanese biotech firm Hirotsu Bioscience says it has developed the world's first early screening test for the disease.
The Nematode Caenorhabditis Elegans, a worm-like organism around the size of a sand grain that is frequently used in scientific research, is even smaller than a honeybee. It has diseased genes that are very much like our own, making it a valuable model organism for scientific study. It's also transparent, so its biological processes are easily visible under a microscope. The organism has also been shown to be capable of detecting cancer. One Japanese study found that it can detect pancreatic cancer cells, and another Italian study found that it can recognize breast cancer cells. In both cases, the worm in some circumstances will move towards samples with cancer cells and avoid the healthy ones. A Japanese biotech firm is offering early detection cancer tests in those in which members of the public can send in urine samples and have it tested by the worm.
These birds are giving humans a run for their money. A new study shows that pigeons are almost as good as humans in detecting breast cancer on a mammogram due to their lack of distractions. Once trained, pigeons had a success rate of just 5 to 10% lower than radiologists.
In a rather peculiar, if not downright bizarre experiment, researchers in the US decided to test whether pigeons could detect breast cancers from images. Surprisingly, the pigeons were able to do so just as well as humans. And they did so despite having a brain about the size of a fingertip. Their brains are quite powerful. However, particularly when it comes to images, they have been shown to be able to recall up to 1,800 images, and they can distinguish between people's facial expressions and even letters in the alphabet. The pigeons in the cancer study were trained to distinguish microscopic images of cancerous and non-cancerous tissue, being rewarded for providing correct answers. When presented with unseen images, they were able to apply what they have learned and correctly distinguish between the images, even when the pictures were zoomed in or out or discolored. It is thought that the pigeons could help validate future image-based cancer detection methods. Hey guys, as we come to the end of the video, in the comment section below, let me know if you're familiar with any other animal that was not listed in the video that can detect diseases in human tissue. Also, if you liked the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Until then, we'll see you next time.